We do have, the district does have a financial advisor, just like any entity does. And certainly we use that financial advisor, and we're in contact with him on a regular basis. For instance, with the stimulus funds that everybody's been talking about, and people say, why don't you use the stimulus funds instead of asking for a bond issue? Well, the stimulus funds to build facilities are not available to us, and he's keeping track of that on a regular basis. There are some stimulus funds that we are receiving, and we're grateful that we're getting them. But the two areas that have been, that we're relatively sure of, you're never sure until you get it in your hands, but it has been promised that we will be getting a chunk of money for our at-risk students, and certainly that can be utilized. And then the other area is for special ed students. Those students must be identified, they must be tracked, you must be able to do a pre-test and then determine what progress has been made from the use of those stimulus funds. Those funds are not going to come to us on a reoccurring basis. It'll be a one-shot. We'll get those funds. We have 18 months to spend them. So we can't use them for any kind of personnel, because they'd work for us for a year and then we'd have to let them go. And we're not going to do like Dallas does. You know, our district is in sound financial condition, and we're not going to hire teachers and then fire them. So in those two pots of money, we're hoping that we can do some things that we have not had the funds in our regular budget to do, such as technology. I've had a lot of people ask if we're going to have technology in this bond issue. No, we're not. And the reason we're not is because technology is outdated so quickly. Within 5 years, it would be so outdated, and we'd be paying for it for the next 15. So it's not included in this bond package. The infrastructure is. In that new middle school, we will have everything that we need for those students to use the technology that they need to use. Okay, the sheet that you have. Well, let me say before we get to that, and this is very critical, and we have another sheet for you. Taxpayers 65 and older on your homestead. I don't know who to pick on here, but if okay, Mr. Watts. Okay, Mr. Watts owns a home in Sulphur Springs. He doesn't have property. Other than that, he doesn't have business, he doesn't have land, he doesn't have those other things. He has a home. His taxes, his dollar amount on school taxes was frozen when he was 65 years old if he went to the tax office and signed up for that exemption. Now, you want to go back and look at your tax dollar for school taxes for the past few years and check that out. We have a copy of the law over here for you. It is against the law for us to raise your taxes. If you are exempt, if you've signed up for that exemption, then your dollar amount is frozen. People say, but the appraised values go up. You know, they keep raising the appraised. That doesn't make any difference with someone who is 65 and older. The dollar amount is frozen. Mr. McGraw is my neighbor. He has a very nice house. His house dollar amount is frozen. He won't have to pay 1 penny more for this bond issue. Okay, so the sheet that you have that looks like this is a comparison. A school district has two sides to a budget. Now, I don't know who named these long ago. I understand the M&O, that's maintenance and operation. That's what it costs us every day to run the schools, to pay salaries, to have cafeterias, to pay bus drivers, to have buses, pay utilities, all of those things. And then the other side of a school budget is called INS, interest and sinking. Wrong name. It should just be debt service. I mean, that's how much we have borrowed and how much we owe. The cap, that means the maximum that the state allows a district to have on that debt service, is 50 cents. In 05-06, the M&O tax rate was $1.42. Our debt service was 8 cents. So you paid $1.50 per $100 valuation on your property in school taxes. The law changed. After that, the law changed on property values, and so your school taxes dropped from $1.42 on the M&O side to $1.04. So it's currently $1.04. You're paying $1.04. And we did pass a bond issue to completely redo the high school, to add 6 science labs and to add a fine arts facility, and to add 8 classrooms to the early childhood school. That bond issue increased the the debt service by 2 cents. So right now your tax rate is $1.13. By adding this $48.4 million, it's going to increase the debt service 30 cents. You add that 30 cents to the $1.04, and you're still going to be paying less than you paid in 05-06, and we have a new middle school and all of these improvements that we've talked about. You know, these are improvements that our kids need. I think it's also an improvement for this community. You know, I'm not going to work for the school district forever, and you can tell by looking at me, it may not be much longer. This is my 40th year. But whether I'm working in the school district or not, I still want this to be the very best district it can be for the kids that live here. Thank you. I want it to be the best it can be for this community. You know, if we are trying to get industry, businesses to come to our community, what do they come and look at? You know, they look at our schools, they look at our hospital. You know, they're going to do investigation. And are we going to take them to Austin School? No, I'm sad to say we're not. You know, we're going to take them to the best that we've got. Our ECLC was built, this is our 14th year, I believe. Time flies. You know, we take them there because we're proud to show that. The high school has been redone. We're proud to show them those new science labs and that fine arts facility. And the pride that those students have at the high school, the change that came about with those students is unbelievable. We had to put them through a spring of very, very uncomfortable. They thought they were in a prison because we had to tear out ceilings, start taking out the old part in order to get it redone during the summer so it would be ready for the fall. So I hate to tell you, we did a disservice to those seniors that year. But what we have now is so much better, and the pride that the students have exhibited in this building is just something that those high school teachers can tell you a whole lot better than I can about that. Okay, I mean, I can keep talking for a long time, but I'm going to, we've got a sheet that really goes over what I've said and even more, gives you places that you can call to get additional information. We have a copy of the law about the exemption of over 65. I also have a set of questions and answers. As people have asked questions, we put those down and then have answered them, so you'll have those as well.